What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Anthony Sain Show. This is, of course, your host, Anthony Sain, joined live with my man, Kenny Stubblefield, on the other side of the World Wide Web. Kenny, what's going on, my brother?
My brother, listen, man, I love the cooler weather. I really do. But the rain can go away. Like, it is flooding like crazy out there right now.
For real? I don't know if it's raining on my side of town or not. I think I do hear something. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know if it's raining or not. But anyway, man, like you said, the weather is getting nicer outside. We ain't far from hoodie weather, man. I ain't gonna lie, man. Maybe because I just ain't really just been outside doing a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But this seems like a milder summer to me. It seems like I don't remember just. Now I know it's been some hot. I mean, what am I trying to say? It seems like it's cooled off faster. It's starting to cool off faster. It seems like I don't seem like the actual time of being hot as hell didn't last long as it seemed in the past.
Definitely. As we get older, it definitely feels like that the length of just the extra hot days are smaller. Like the month of June is not as hot as it used to be. Like I just remember June.
I can't explain what I'm trying to say because this is for sure been hot as hell, but it just don't seem like the summer has lasted as long as it used to. But you know, there's a reason why, they say time goes by faster the older you get. There's like a scientific reason to that, right?
Isn't it
a very logical reason why we feel that way?
I could try to like guess my way through it, but I'm going to sound like a total fool if I do. So if you can try to explain it, that'd be awesome.
It was said to me that the reason why time goes by faster the older you get is because each unit of time is a smaller percentage of your entire lifespan.
I mean, that makes sense. It does.
Just like when your parents would say, "I'm on my way home. I'll be there in 30 minutes." That 30 minutes used to seem like 2 hours now.
Right.
Because that 30 minutes was a bigger chunk of your entire lifespan.
Makes sense.
It's like if you're a week old and I say, "I'll see you tomorrow," that day is a big piece of your entire lifespan.
It's like 1/7. That's 1/7 of your life.
Right?
Right.
Yeah. So that's a scientific reason for why the older you get, it seems like time is going.
I thought you were going to bring in like wormholes and like space-time continuums and things like that.
Very simple answer. Very simple answer.
I got you.
We have a very simple show today, man. One of my good friends, one of my great guests we haven't had on in a while. My guy Matt Infield from WMC Action News 5 is going to join us. He came out to 901 Wrestling last Saturday for the Wild Card Rumble, and it was his first experience with Memphis wrestling, and which is crazy because he comes into the old Channel 5 wrestling studio each and every night to record his show. And I'm gonna ask him, does he know that? Does he know about that at all? We're gonna talk some Grizzlies stuff, of course. Matt's been there for a while now. I want to talk about what that experience has been like covering the Memphis Grizzlies here so far and some of his thoughts. I know he's been one of those guys that's been, in the front, kind of talking about things with the Grizzlies. So I'm gonna definitely talk to Matt about that. And it's last time we talked, man. A lot of stuff is going on. We were talking about the TV rights deal, of course.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that later on. That's pretty much come to a resolution. And hey, I was just joking, but it came out just where I said, Amazon. Hey, told TNT.
I'm not unhappy about this, man. I said I'm not unhappy about this. I love this
at all. Amazon. My boy Jeff Bezos said, "Hey, Ted Turner, sit your old ass down, man. I got this, big dog. I got you." But we'll talk about that later in the show for the 3-pointer. But Kenny, since the last time we talked, Kenny Stubblefield, the Grizzlies have been a little active. Got a couple things going on. Well, one thing going on. 18-man roster is the theme of the season. Kenny, we do not have a 15-man roster and 3 two-way players. We have an 18-man roster here with the Memphis Grizzlies as they added Jay Huff. Jay Huff, the last team he played for was the Denver Nuggets. He was on their roster.
Right. This
season. They did not retain him. He was on the Orlando Summer League team. Orlando, a team that's already got a shitload of centers out there anyway. So, of course, they didn't add him to their team. Jay Huff, again, was added to the Grizzlies on a 2-way contract. 7'1". Want to say he was Defensive Player of the Year in the G League last year, if I'm not mistaken, or the year before. I can't remember. Kind of a thing where the Grizzlies were kind of beneficiaries of something I've been talking about for a while, how it's not really hard to find a big man in today's NBA, right?
Yeah.
There's an abundance of guys that can come in and play NBA minutes, it's in a pinch for you. Jay Huff, a 7'1" guy. He's athletic. He can dribble a little bit. He can get to the basket. He can shoot a little bit. I want to say he shot like 39% from 3. Not a super high volume guy, but he shot 39% from 3. I'm excited about this a little bit. I want to say, man.
Yeah.
I was watching my guy Keith Parrish what's his Grizzly show called?
Fast Grit and Grinds.
Grit and Grinds.
Yeah.
I was watching Grit and Grinds today. He was talking about him. He was out there in Vegas and got to watch him firsthand. So yeah, I'm kind of cool with this, man, because Trey Jemison, something that Keith said that was a really good point, is that when the Grizzlies signed Trey Jemison this year, they were kind of a point of desperation where we didn't have any big men on the roster at all, right? You couldn't just keep getting killed. You had to get some kind of big body out there.
Right.
So they added Trey Jemison. But now you've got everything's out in front of you, right? You got all the big men that are available to be that emergency big, and they added Jay Huff. And I think it's going to be fine. I'm excited about it.
He takes that emergency big role, right? Yeah. Like that's who that is.
And I said this on Twitter, man. If you're talking about somebody that's an emergency big, a two-way is the perfect situation for the guy to be in. Because some of the names I've seen, man, I've seen people say stuff like, trying to think of the names of guys. I can't even think right now, but just some of the names people say, these are guys who were playing 20, 25 minutes last year, even 15 minutes. Yeah. An emergency big is a guy who you don't really expect to play much at all. And you're not going to get a guy like that to come sign with you if he sees Brandon Clark, Santi Aldama, Jaren Jackson Jr., and Zach Edey in front of him. Like, he's not coming here. You know
with the potential of Gigi taking some of those minutes at the 4. So it's like you just got this convoluted, not even convoluted. You just got a full stacked front court right now.
Right. Like, and you got guys who, and I understand this, our fan base is kind of, too. Our fan base has PTSD from last season, right?
100%.
Because you hear a lot of, well, what if someone gets hurt? Your season's over, bro.
It's over.
Like if Zach Edey goes down, whatever guy you're talking about, he wouldn't be the answer either. You know what I mean?
Right.
So,
well,
if John Morant gets hurt, Scottie Pippen Jr. is not the answer. You know what I mean? So these are both emergency level guys. Yeah. So like I said, I like the J Huff signing. I think it'll be fine. He's the perfect type of guy that you have in that big emergency big situation. When you say emergency big, it's not really an emergency big. It's kind of like a utility big, man. Like, Edey took a little nick. He needs to rest a little bit. Jaren needs to miss a couple games, whatever you need to do. He's a guy that can come in and play minutes. You bring him in, make him active that night. He can come in and play minutes for whoever needs to play minutes for. So
are you a baseball fan?
No.
So like
I know baseball language though.
In baseball, they have the bullpen, right? They have a bunch of pitchers in the bullpen, and each of those, it's not just they don't fill out the bullpen by just bringing
starters
and closers. They have long-term relievers, short-term relievers. They have all these different kinds of guys that do different things that are there. That's what this two-way contract is for. Like the CBA, the collective bargaining agreement specifically was what that position, that contract was created for that emergency utility / role where you need someone to come in. That's why they give them 50 games. Right. That's a lot of the season. 50 games.
Actually, it wasn't made for that, but the Grizzlies are being very innovative. And it's what it seems like Miami in the way that they're using their two-way
contract. That's what it's being used at now, though.
Yep.
I mean, that's what it's being used for.
When it first started, it was to protect guys that you had in the G League that you had interest in, that you could have some level of protection for those guys. But the Grizzlies are making like I've got 18 dudes.
Right.
I've got 18 guys in my
roster.
Is
why you said it's an 18-man roster, not a 15-man roster.
Yeah. So I like it. I love that level of innovation. I love what the Grizzlies are doing. Get a guy like Jay Huff, a guy who didn't play a lot of games last year, but when he came in, he was effective. But it was mostly in garbage time. He's
effective. Like he's going to be an effective big.
Yeah,
he's going to be more effective than Trey Jemison.
Exactly. There's some things that he can do that Trey just can't do.
Yeah.
So and speaking of an 18-man roster, one man that we speak as if he's on that roster.
We got 17 right now, bro. We need one more. Let's go.
Well, we still got 18 because we got the guy that came over we do have 17, because Luke Kennard still is not signed with the Memphis Grizzlies, and Kenny Stubblefield. I have a theory of what may be going on with Luke Kennard.
Before you get into this theory, this is my favorite part of the Anthony Sain show.
Well, I just start theorizing.
When you start, what's the word? Conspiratorizing
on y'all. Conspiracizing.
I love it.
I'm also the dude that told y'all are overvaluing what Tyus Jones is and what he is to this organization and what he is in the league. I was the guy who said that to y'all, and Tyus Jones still plays for absolutely nobody in free agency. Why? Because Tyus Jones is a 6-foot point guard who can only play point guard. He's way too good to be a backup point guard, and he's really not. He's a low-level starting point guard. He's probably one of the lesser starting point guards in the league. And those guys just don't really have a role in the league.
Why have the Lakers not gone and got Tyus?
I don't know. I think that they're
they just can't. I guess they can't afford it.
I don't even think they can. because he's probably his agent's probably really insisting he should get more money or whatever.
But when he was with the Grizz, wasn't he making 14 with the Grizz?
Yeah. But I don't even know if that's really a good spot for him. Because when you're playing with LeBron, bro, if you're the point guard, you're not going to be on the ball. You got to be a catch and shoot type dude. That's why they thought what's the name was going to work so well for them. The kid that came.
I don't know this LeBron, this 40-year-old LeBron. I don't know if that's necessarily true.
But LeBron don't know that.
That's true too. JJ will though. JJ's going to come in and he's going to bring out his little piece of paper and tell LeBron, bro, we need to.
He's going to shoot LeBron a text in the middle of the game.
Yeah. Let's go to a podcast, LeBron. We need to have a real talk.
Right. But here's my theory for Luke Kennard.
I'm excited about this.
Because I talked to you about this.
Because I'm confused, man. Like, why has his deal not been announced?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I talked to a couple
what's
people.
What's going on?
I talked to a couple people who kind of helped me with some of the NBA mathematics as far as the aprons and the hard caps and all that type of stuff, right? And I asked somebody, I said, can the Grizzlies sign and trade Luke Kennard at all? They said, yeah, they can sign and trade him. They can sign and trade him. But if you sign and trade him, if you sign and trade for a guy and you take more money back, you're going to be hard capped today. Like starting right now today, you're going to be hard capped. You can't do nothing. Like you can't do nothing within your apron.
Right.
And I'm still trying to understand what being hard cap means, but I know it limits the hell out of you. It
just limits anything you can do, right?
You can only spend so much money in salary. Right. So that means if you have injuries, even guys you need like for 10 days, or you need to sign a guy mid-season, it kind of prevents you from doing a lot of those type of things, depending on what the salary is, right?
Right.
But if the Grizzlies go ahead and sign Luke Kennard, right? After that, whatever that date is where you can trade him, you can then trade him for more money or trade him for whoever. And you can, even if you get hard cap, you're looking at a trade much later in the season, right?
Right.
You're looking at getting hard cap much later in the season. I think the Grizzlies have a list of guys that they want to trade Luke Kennard for, that they probably have probable deals for now, that they're not making now because it may potentially hard cap them today, which isn't a good place to be. And the season don't start until October. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I think what the Grizzlies are doing is I think they're signing Luke Kennard and giving themselves the flexibility of being able to trade him at some time in the season and then bringing Cam Spencer into that role, playing, 10, 12, 16, however many minutes per game Luke Kennard is going to play. And we'll have that debate too about how many minutes Luke Kennard will play if we bring things back the way they are. But and I think if he works out and he's fine, he's really good, you keep him at that number, but I think they're trying to sign him at a number that lines up with other guys they may want to trade him for within a range. Because I think the Grizzlies this particular year, before the cap jumps again and they have to play Jaren next year, I think they're really trying to maximize and get everything they can out of this season. I think that's a priority for them.
Do you think that's being communicated to Luke's people?
Yes.
Because here's my issue with that. That would be my main issue is the only reason, like Luke is out there in the wind right now.
Oh, no, I don't think that much is being communicated to him.
So I guess my question would be then is why are his agents, why are people not waiting around? Because you don't hear anything.
I think whatever the amount the Grizzlies are kind of softly throwing out there to him is more than what he's hearing out in the open market anyway.
So he's waiting. He knows he'll make more money with the Grizz, so he's waiting to kind of figure out their whole process. I think
this summer, man, is pissing a lot of dudes off. 100%. Because, like, man, this is the worst summer in the world. This apron stuff really jacking up my career, jacking up my money. Because a lot of teams, bro, bro, guys like Gary Trent Jr. would have got signed to a mid-level exception day one. Teams are not. They are afraid of these aprons, bro.
We're not putting $14 million into Gary Trent Jr. It's just not going to happen.
They are totally afraid to sign these guys in free agency. The Lakers, who are known for mid-level exception, taxpayers exception, you're doing it every year, right? And look at the roster they had last year, just out there just signing guys just to be adding names. You know what I mean? So
right,
yeah, I think it's something like that, man. Like they're trying to match. They have a number where they're trying to match certain guys for a possible Luke Kennard trade later on in the year, and I think they're trying to make those numbers line
Makes
up.
Sense. They're trying to make those numbers make sense
for something they could possibly do later on with his contract. And I think the guy that they're looking at is Dorian Finney-Smith. So.
No. All right, so let's go nuts and bolts with this thing real quick. Just dumb it down for someone like myself. Is Luke going to be on the roster at the beginning of the year?
I think he will, yeah.
will he be traded? Will there be a sign and trade before the deadline?
Would it be not a sign and trade?
Not a sign and trade, a trade before the deadline.
I think it's a high possibility of it. I don't think they're signing Luke Kennard like, hey, we want you to be a Grizzly for life. I think they're signing him with the mindset of we're probably going to trade you sometime in the season, but let me see how the season plays out, and we'll have that flexibility to do that. I don't think they're keeping him. I think if he was that major of a priority, the Grizzlies would have did some stuff a while ago.
Does that then impact your feelings about what the Grizzlies want to do with a guy like Marcus Smart during the season?
Yeah, I could see them. I don't know, man. Like I said, I've been saying on Twitter, I can totally see the Grizzlies trading him too. This is what people have to understand. Like, a lot of things can be true at the same time. Like, we understand that the Grizzlies clearly value Marcus Smart. They traded 2 first-round picks and Tyus Jones to get him, right? I understand that they value him. Bro, some stuff has happened since they acquired Marcus Smart. You remember we had Chris Harrington on the show, right? And we were like, well, Chris, what would happen if Marcus Smart, it was this time last year. We said, what would happen if Marcus Smart is not good enough to be your primary defender? And Chris Harrington was like,
it'd be a disaster.
It's going to be kind of squirrely because you're looking at Zaire Williams, looking at David Roddy, you're looking at Jake LaRavia as being your guys to be your primary defender. Then we find this dude that was on a two-way playing with the G League who looks like the second coming of whoever, you know what I mean? Poor man's Mikal Bridges out here and Vince Williams. And then you find out Gigi Jackson, the kid you drafted 45, is looking like Paul George. Like, you didn't know you had these two dudes at that time when you acquired Marcus Smart, right?
And then you lock Vince and Gigi down to for
4 more years.
For 4 more years. It's like there's guys that I think that you thought last year getting them that you valued what they could provide the team. Mm-hmm. Because let's not forget. Look at Luke Kennard's value to this team a few years ago and how he kind of feels like he's on the outside looking in. And you've done.
Then you get Cam Spencer, who looks like a low budget version of him. Plus, he's crazy.
And plus, he's a wild man who ain't afraid to shoot.
Right. He looks like he goes to sleep every night in his uniform. It's like he takes a shower with his uniform on, just lets it air dry and gets his ass in the bed.
Yeah, man. It is crazy because, like, you look at it also with the Grizzlies. Like, they came into last season thinking we've got to get some veterans in here to like really kind of calm this locker room down. To kind of set it right, I guess, if that makes sense. I don't need that anymore. Like, that's over and done with. So I know
these guys are 2 years older now.
They're 2 years older now.
They're about to be 2 years older than the team that got embarrassed by the Lakers a couple years ago.
Right.
Things
have changed, man. Things have changed. Yeah.
A lot of stuff has changed. Like I said, I can see the Grizzlies doing something like that, turning Luke Kennard into a guy like a Dorian Finney-Smith, and then kind of exploring what you can see what's out there with Marcus Smart as well. It's just what I think, bro. I mean, I could very well be wrong, but if not, explain to me, somebody else tell me what's going on with Luke Kennard's contract, because the roster spot is gone. We've got the cap relief to do whatever we need to do to sign him, because they're not going to sign him for something over that's going to put them into the tax. So you tell me what the holdup is. But anyway, Kenny, we're about to take a break, man. Like I said, my man Matt Infield is going to join us from WMC Action News 5. Sure, it's going to be a great interview. Next time you hear us, you will see my man Matt Infield. He'll be on the building for the sit down with Sain. We'll see you guys in a minute.
Since I've lived here, I get one question all the time. Have you met Barack Obama yet? You play golf all the time. And so it finally happened. I got a chance to meet him. I kind of say I turned into it was like a fanboy. And the one thing he said to me was, "Oh, I hear you're the guy I got to play golf with because you got a good golf game."
Yeah.
You're damn right. When we gonna play?
When are we gonna play? Here, give me your number.
He had the pimp walk. He still had the little strut. Gave me the dap. There's those moments, you meet people and it's like, that was cool. We got to meet such and such. That was cool, man. But it's not nothing. It's like it's still just a person. This was different. This was like, hi, my name is Bear Bear Knight. Yeah, inside it's like, but outside it's like, it's cool. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, very nice. Very nice.
Tune in to the Night Court podcast with your hosts, Rob Fisher and Brevin Knight, on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
PJ Carter comes to Memphis from UTSA, where he played last year. I see no issues with it. I think it's actually pretty valuable to add a little more depth to this team.
Yeah, I think it's a solid addition. I don't think it's anything to get overly excited about, but someone that averaged nearly 10 points per game, 2.5 rebounds, good free throw shooter, good three-point shooter, shot 40% from the three-point line last year. Like you said, it's a good depth add. It's another one of those that's not going to raise the ceiling of this team tremendously, but it's one of those pieces that you need, a guy that can potentially come off the bench and play quality minutes, and that's really about all you're going to ask from PJ Carter.
Tune into On the Bluff with Christian Fowler and Gabe Kuhn every Tuesday at 12 p.m. on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel. United Way of the Mid-South and 901 FC are teaming up to gather school supplies for students and teachers in Memphis Shelby County schools. We invite you to join us in our Stuff the Bus initiative. Bring new school supplies to the 901 FC versus San Antonio FC game on Saturday, July 27th at 7:30 p.m. Donate notebooks, pens, pencils, crayons, and much more. Or you can contribute by texting UW Schools to 41444 to make a monetary donation.
All right, y'all. Welcome back to the Anthony Sain Show. Time for the sit down with Sain. Got my guy, man. It's been a minute since we've seen him. My man, Matt Infield from WMC TV Action News 5 is in the building. Matt, what's going on, my brother?
Man, appreciate you having me. I mean, it's been a minute since I've been on the show, but obviously I was with you at 9-1 Wrestling with you, and I appreciate y'all having me out, man. It was fun.
Yeah, for sure. We're going to talk about that a little bit later in the show. But let's get to some Grizzlies stuff, man. I wanted to bring you in. Of course, you are sports anchor for WMC TV Action News 5. This is how many years have you been in Memphis? This is your second summer in Memphis, or third?
This is my third summer. I've been here just over 2 years. I got here June 2022, so going into my third Grizzly season.
Yeah, so you've seen a couple different iterations of this Grizzlies team, right? You saw one
very different seasons. Yes.
Yeah, you saw one where we were the number 2 team in the West for most of the season. You know, those type of things. You saw that team. You saw that was a crazy season you came here on. We were off a high of 2021-22. Then you got in for 22-23 when it was all hell broke loose towards the second half of that year, right? And then of course you had the nightmare of a year this year. So what has it been like your 3 years covering the Grizzlies so far?
You know what's funny is I kind of wish, and like it all works out how it's supposed to, but there are times I wish I was here for it would have been 21-22, like the real breakout season, because I remember watching that from afar, and obviously they took the NBA by storm, and Ja really, that was his true breakout into superstardom. And then Desmond Bain started emerging. That team looked like a lot of fun. Like that's got to be one of those, other than a championship winning team, probably the most fun team to cover is like a young team that truly explodes on the scene and plays the style that team played. So I miss that. But 22-23 was fun because, you know, I think there was still, you know, going into that season, I think there was an expectation that maybe they could come out of the West. And they were a good team the majority of the year. And then obviously that spring is when some of the Ja off-court stuff hit. And then they got kind of punked in that. They got punked in that Lakers series, which was a little bit, I don't know if it was like upsetting. But it was a reminder of like the cliche is the journey's not linear, but it's a reminder of, all right, like this is still a young team and they're going to have to go through some grown-ass men that have been there and done that. Obviously, like LeBron, Anthony Davis have been there, really done all of that. And then last year, you know what's funny is actually I think I was at way more games last year, just like Doc and I, Doc Holliday. Obviously, we adjusted the way we cover things. I was at way more games last year, even though the team wasn't very good just with all the injuries and whatnot. Mm-hmm. But, you know, I sat there throughout last season. And I'm like, it would be way more fun to be covering a winning team for sure. Right. Now, I did get the Ja return in New Orleans. I was there for that. That was sweet. That was really cool. But you know, like you always look for storylines, and like the Vince Williams Jr. and Gigi Jackson storylines, little things like that. Where I'm like, all right, like I'd rather be covering a winning team, but like it's not a completely lost season, and there's some cool little storylines coming out of this. So, but yeah, two polar opposite situations for sure.
Yeah, you definitely have had a mixed bag of teams for sure for those 2 years.
100%.
You're now about the end of your third season, like you said. This is your third Grizzlies season. This is one where I feel like this is the best Grizzlies roster we've ever had as far as mix of all-star level talent, young up and coming guys, role players, all those type of things. You got shooting coming in, whether it was the new guys or you got two of the best shooters in the league with Desmond Bain and Luke Kennard, who you soon is going to be back sometime soon. So what do you think about this particular season? Is this a season, like, especially with the things you mentioned, them being a young team that couldn't get over the hump a few years ago when they probably had the talent to compete, but they didn't have the maturity to compete? What do you think about this third season covering the team here in Memphis?
I can't speak to every roster from the grit and grind era and whatnot, but certainly I look at this roster this upcoming season compared to the ones from 21 through 23. And I definitely think with the combination of high-end star power that is now more seasoned and has kind of taken their lumps, and the depth from 4 through 10, let's call it, and probably even beyond that, yeah, I think this roster is way better. Like, I'm not going to say I'm the first one to come up with this idea because I was listening to Zach Lowe has been pretty heavy on this as well. But, it feels like everyone is assuming that in the West next season, you've got OKC as the top dog, which, I mean, fair. OKC is kind of in a similar spot as far as young talent and depth and whatnot. And they won a playoff series last year, so they're coming for sure. And then some mix of Minnesota, Denver, and Dallas as the next three teams. And I see no reason why the Grizzlies can't be right in the thick of that mix, if not at the top of that group, especially in the regular season. Now, a couple of those teams, obviously, especially when you're talking about Denver, and we can put Dallas in there now, coming off the finals berth. They have a track record of proven playoff success. So that's the next step for this group, is to go beyond what they have so far, because the core has won one playoff series so far. Now, obviously, Golden State series, Ja gets hurt. You never know what happens with that. But like we mentioned, the Lakers series, they got punked by a more experienced team that looked like they're more ready for that moment. But, I'm telling people, like, I would not be surprised. I'm not saying I would necessarily call them coming out of the West next year, but if you told me the Grizzlies are in the NBA Finals next season, I wouldn't bat an eye. They have a trio a young trio that I would put up against any in the league, including OKC's. Now, whether you take OKC's or Memphis, sure, that's somewhat debatable, but I like Memphis as much as any. As long as Gigi and Vince take the step that we kind of hope they will, going into their second season with maybe a kind of slimmed down role a little bit, and the rest of the guys, the rotation is really good. Like 1 through 10, it's got to be as good as any team in the league. And now you have guys like Marcus Smart who have the experience in the playoffs to kind of add to that room a little bit as well. So, yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm not calling them going to the finals, but if you told me they're in the finals next year, I'm not shocked at all.
Yeah, something that's been a big cause of debate, I guess, when you're talking about social media, and it's kind of hard to tell whether social media conversations are real life conversations, though, right? But yes. There's been a lot of debate about how active the Grizzlies being or lack of being active, right? And I look at it like, you really, how can you make changes to a team you haven't seen? That's been my thing, right? And we haven't seen this team with Marcus Smart, with Vince Williams, with Gigi Jackson, and healthy John Moran, healthy Desmond Bain, healthy Jaren Jackson Jr., and with Zach Edey. You know what I mean? We'll talk about Zach later on. But we just haven't seen that team, right? And I think it's just too soon to tinker with that team, especially when you're talking about a team that's already 8 to 10 guys deep. Are you talking about replacing some of those guys now? You never even seen them together? Because people say things like, okay, they need more shooting. But if you get more shooting, that means your guys on the wing or guards, whatever, that can shoot better. Are they replacing Marcus Smart? Are they replacing Vince Williams? Are they replacing Gigi? Like, people say those type of things, but that also requires you losing a guy that you like or a guy that you haven't seen. Yep. Where are you at? Do you think the Grizzlies, should do more, or do you think that they're fine the way that they've done things so far?
Like you said, like, people love it. I feel like half the fan base loves Zach Kleiman. I'm not annoyed to King Kleiman. To me, Zach Kleiman's clearly pretty good at his job and clearly understands the direction the NBA is going in and is trying to build a roster that can sustainably compete year after year in that. But the other half of the fan base seems to want him fired and thinks that he's not good at his job. And I'm just like, Man, listen. As a Knicks fan, things are good right now. But I promise you, I know it bad.
I know it looks like too, man.
Yeah, for sure. We don't have to name names, but yes, obviously the Grizzlies have been victim of that in their past as well. This is not a guy that doesn't know what he's doing. I promise you. Now, that's not to say he's perfect and that every move has been dead on, because he's definitely had his misses. But in general, I think he has a pretty good idea of what he's doing. My thing is, what do people want them to add? What are they supposed to do right now? When you look at it like Kennard, I think clearly they're trying to bring back Kennard on a deal that is both team friendly, takes care of him, but also keeps them probably enough below the first apron, I guess, to where they have flexibility to make maybe another move down the road if they figure out that something with this group needs to be tinkered, whatever that might be. And I think that's an important thing too, is they still have basically all of their draft capital and the young player flexibility and whatnot, to where if they feel like they need to make another, I don't know if you want to call it splash, but another impact move down the road, they kind of have the flexibility to do that. Mm-hmm. Right. And so I'm just looking at the roster. I'm like, you've got multiple ball handlers. Could you use maybe a little bit more shooting? Probably. But you've got a bunch of big guys that fill different roles. We were talking about, and Zach Kleiman brought up this point the night they drafted Zach Edey. Now you've got one of the biggest players in the league. You've got kind of a major lob threat in the pick and roll of Ja and Brandon Clark. You've got Jaren Jackson Jr. as a defensive player of the year guy. And you've got a floor spacer in Santi Aldamas. You've got I don't know what fans really want them to do. That's why I see them complaining about them not being active enough. I think the roster is really good. See how good the roster is, and then in January, February, if you need to add something or something's not working, make a move then.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I think people get so excited with transaction porn, and you mentioned yourself being a Knicks fan, right? And it's like I'll use them as an example. Like you say, you see teams that are super active doing this, that, and the other. Teams that are super active like that, they're active because they're fixing mistakes. They didn't draft well. They don't have a good team. So they're going out making all these moves with existing guys, trying to fix errors they've made over the years. And the Grizzlies, even if they bring Luke Kennard back, right? You're talking about 12 out of you're looking at 12 guys that you drafted on your roster, right? On a good team. So you can't knock that. And the only guys on your roster that you didn't draft would be Marcus Smart, Derrick Rose, Luke Kennard, right?
Yeah, so, and if you're not doing the two-way guys,
yeah. And it's like, how can you knock that, man? Like you're a competitive team. You're going to be one of the top teams in the West, one of the top teams in the league, and you drafted the far majority of the guys on your team. Like, so what are you making moves for if you're drafting hits?
And even their draft misses the last couple of years. Mm-hmm. Roddy, I'm still grouping Laravia kind of as a miss, although he's kind of redeeming himself and working his way back to being a contributing player in the rotation. And Zaire Williams. Okay, you made up for that in my mind by drafting Gigi Jackson at 45 and Vince Williams Jr. at 47.
Yeah. And then these two guys that got the second round, these guys look like at one point they're going to be able to play and be rotation players. That's Jalen Wells and Cam Spencer. Both
and then this year's class. I won't put too much stock in this year's class yet, but I think the positive thing about those two guys is I remember the conversations. I wasn't here when Zaire got drafted, but I was here when Laravia got drafted. That was my first week. And the conversation was basically around, well, we think he could shoot in the NBA. And it's kind of happening now, but it didn't for a while. Yeah. Wells and Cam Spencer, you can tell. They can shoot. No doubt about that. They can both shoot.
Yeah. So another player from this year's draft that we haven't mentioned too much at all in detail is Zach Edey, a totally polarizing player. We've heard people say that, the Grizzlies drafted the rookie of the year. Some people said those things immediately upon us taking them at 9. Some people say he was the worst draft pick ever. And there's a few people in the middle. Where are you at on Zach Edey, and how do you think he will turn out for the Grizzlies this season with the level of expectation? This isn't a guy that we're looking to be like a Jalen Wells to kind of fit in and developmental. And Edey, we're expecting to catch on this year and have a higher role. Or Vince Williams, who they sent to the G League, 2-way deal, all those type of things. This is a guy who's going to be your starting center for all intents and purposes. All signs are pointing that Zach Edey is going to be your starting center. What are your expectations for him, and how do you feel about him going forward, especially with such a big role for this team?
So I've kind of teetered on this a little bit. So I remember saying back in January when he was in the middle of very clearly running away with National Player of the Year again for the second straight year. I was like, this guy's going to play in the NBA. Like, this size plays as long as you are not just the worst big man defender in the league. Like, at a certain point, this plays. I definitely thought he was a better, because at that point, people were mocking like the second round. I was like, nah, this is not a second round player. This guy's better than that. I did initially think that 9 was probably a little too high for him. But honestly, what really has maybe come around on the pick, going back to Zach Kleiman, listening to Zach Kleiman the night that they drafted Zach Edey, and he gave this great answer about kind of the role they envisioned him in, and kind of just laying out the vision for how they thought he could be effective, and talking about, in the NBA right now, so many teams are so preoccupied with, okay, if this team throws out this lineup, what do we counter with? Or if they throw out this combination of guys, what do we do? At a certain point, when Zach Edey's on the floor, there are only a certain number of players that can be on the floor with him. Because if you try to go small against that guy, I promise you he is getting punished. Now, listen, I'm not all the way sold. I'm not all the way sold on the in-space defense yet. Now, I've seen enough clips to where I've come around on it, and I think it's probably better than I gave it credit for. That being said, I imagine in practice, if Zach is on an island with Ja, he's probably getting blown by, or it's just not going to end up well for him. But to be fair, there are a lot of big guys where that's the case. But yeah, I think it's a good environment for him because he's not going to be asked to be the focal point of the offense, but at the same time, you combine him with Ja, and we got a little glimpse of, I said, the Utah Summer League game, the first one. Like, you see some of the screens he's setting, and you've got Scottie Pippen Jr. coming around the corner on those screens. It's like, damn, that's a lot of space. Now in the regular season, it could be, damn, that's Ja Morant with a full head of steam coming to take a defender's head off at the rim. Yeah, right. It's just a little bit different. And I really think that him and Jaren is a good combination together, because I think that he definitely protect the rim. Like I said, I still have my questions about the in-space stuff, but if you can anchor him and drop coverage, which is what Kleiman talked about, and you have Jaren to kind of roam and be like the center fielder to clean up any weaknesses that Edey might have with his mobility, I think that's a really good combination. I do wonder about other big men you could play him with. Like, I wonder what a Brandon Clark, Zach Edey combination looks like. I don't know if Santi and Zach Edey is really playable together, but I'm sure they'll try it. So I'm curious about other combinations, but in a vacuum, I have come around on the pick because I think he's ready to play right now. He will contribute for them next season. And I think they have the players around him to really maximize him.
Another big point of discussion and debate within the Grizzverse, right, is this new roster spot, right? We had a roster spot that came open after the Grizzlies traded Zaire Williams. Is that technically open? Because the guy that they got back, they haven't waived him yet, which makes me think that they'll at least bring that guy to camp. Do you remember Diakite? I don't know how much college basketball you watch. He was pretty good for Virginia when they won it all in 2019. I think he's a little bit intriguing at least. And this kid, what's the name? He's from Virginia too. The kid they got today.
It's slipping my mind. Hold on, I tweeted before.
The kid they got on the two-way. Huff, Jay Huff. He's a Virginia kid too, right?
Jay Huff. Yes,
right,
yes,
right.
yes. Jay Huff.
So, what was I talking about? Oh, if there's a spot that comes open, right? There are people who say, reward a guy like Scottie Pippen Jr. You can use him on a two-way, but if he's already on the roster, he's there every night. You can pull him in whenever you need to use him, whatever. There are people who say, hey, the kid Cam Spencer is a bona fide shooter. Get him. You might not even have to bring in Luke Kennard. There are people saying that kid can shoot. He can, all these type of things, right? How would you use that? Do you leave it open for a trade possibly, or signing a guy in free agency later on in the season or whatever? How would you use that open roster, that potential open roster spot if you're the Grizzlies?
It's probably advantageous, right, if they don't have to put Scottie on a standard contract right now. Now, don't get me wrong. Scottie is sure as hell earned, in my opinion, a standard contract. So, if they wanted to use it on him and reward him, I'd be fine with that. But it's probably advantageous from a team-building perspective to keep him on the two-way for as long as possible, at least into the season. And then, to me, I don't know what impact player you're going to add at this point that's really going to make using that spot on whatever player this is over someone that's already in-house and to be as proven they can play at the NBA level. I would probably lean, keep it open, but man, I know you've tweeted about it a little bit too. Like Scotty's a hooper, man. Like it's confusing to me. Like even last year when they signed him off the Lakers G League squad, and obviously he was thrust into this role right away.
Not on a two-way for the Lakers. That is so wild. He was just out there.
Yeah, I'm just confused why he wasn't on a roster somewhere because he basically stepped into a pretty regular role right away here, and there was never a moment last year where I was like, "Oh, this guy sucks. Like he shouldn't be in the NBA." Like he looked like an NBA player from the moment he was getting regular rotation minutes, which is basically right away. And he's only gotten better since then. So yeah, I mean, like the NBA misses on players pretty regularly enough to where like some guys slip through the cracks. But like it's kind of wild to me because like from the moment he started getting real minutes for him last year, I was like, this guy's pretty good for the role he's in at least.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I don't ever want anybody to, because I'm really on the side of there's no need to bring him up. Like you've got to, this is what two-way contracts are for. You use him, you put him in the active roster when you need him. If not, you save those games. You got 50 of them, and if you need to make a decision for the playoffs, then you sign them if you want to. And then then Derrick Rose's contract is gonna roll off next summer as well.
Yep.
And you're probably not going to have him on your playoff roster, just being honest, because how are you finding minutes for Scottie Pippen Jr. in the playoffs? If he's playing in the playoffs, something probably went very wrong. You know what I mean? But I make those type of statements. I don't want anyone to confuse that to think that I don't think he's a hell of a player. He's a clear NBA player. You just have to be smart with how you use your roster spots, especially when you think about it. Because there's one translation of this where you can say, okay, Zaire Williams is a $5 million deal, $6 million deal. Did we really trade Zaire Williams and send off a second round pick just so we can sign Scottie Pippen Jr.? Like is that then sign him to a contract? And
Luke Kennard, like the combination of that,
So so those type of things are conversations you have to have as well. Do those things logically make sense? Like I think he's a hell of a player. I think he'll be definitely a player for the future. I just don't think that right now signing them to that deal makes a ton of sense at all.
So let me, because you mentioned him as well. Mm-hmm. So I tweeted a couple weeks ago when the Kennard news broke, like basically when the news broke that they're declining the player option, but that they're more than likely going to bring him back. I tweeted out the Grizzlies 10-man rotation and didn't include Derrick Rose in that. And I had a bunch of, it wasn't D-Rose. D-Rose Muse follows me, but it wasn't them. They're actually pretty cool. Some of these Muse accounts are a little questionable. But it was a couple of D-Rose fan pages that were like, no D-Rose? Like, blah, 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 blah. I'm like,
no D-Rose, 100%.
I got all the respect in the world for Derrick Rose, man. Like, I've really enjoyed covering him over the last year because you could tell through, like, just being in the league for as long as he has and the experiences that he's been through, like, he's super introspective and, like, really thinks things through. And, like, I've really enjoyed covering him. But, like, if we're being honest, like, I'm not saying he's going to be Udonis Haslem because I think he's going to play in the regular season, but I don't think he's a regular part of the rotation. And to be honest, like I'd probably rather play Scottie Pippen Jr. over him if we're just being completely real.
I think he'll get minutes in games where guys, you might get a little bump or a little nick in the game, mid-game, games that you don't have Scottie Pippen Jr. on the active roster for his two-way. I think that's the only time Derrick Rose plays. Like I'm a Derrick Rose guy forever. I think it's great that he's a citizen of the city of Memphis, if nothing else. And I think the impact he has on John Moran is huge. But on the court, there's the same gospel I preach about how if there's only so many minutes to go around, I don't want Scottie Pippen Jr. taking minutes out of Luke Kennard, Marcus Smart, Vince Williams, Desmond Bane, Gigi. I don't want him taking any of those guys' minutes. I say the same thing about Derrick Rose too. Yeah. I don't want to be in a situation where Derrick Rose is in the game and my other guys aren't. I don't want that to happen at all.
Clearly last year showed, and there's nothing wrong with it with all the injuries he's been through, but he clearly, I don't think his body can hold up and play probably more than half the season. Right. So it is what it is. I got all the respect in the world for Derrick Rose, and he obviously yeah, for sure. And everything he's accomplished both in the NBA and with the Tigers when he was here for college, man, all the respect in the world. Hell of a player at his best. But he's at that point in his career where he can't play every night anymore, and there are a lot of guys on the team that should be playing before it. But he's still a valuable part of the locker room, and I do think he will play at least a little bit.
Yeah. Where are you at as far as USA basketball is concerned? How amazed are you by the things that LeBron James is doing at 40 years old? I'm a little annoyed by it. on Wednesday's show, I talked about, I said, man, if y'all don't get this scripted bullshit out of my face, like this is clearly USA basketball deciding, okay, let's let LeBron be Captain America this summer and let him add this to his legacy and stuff. And people are like, well, what would Team USA be right now if it wasn't for LeBron? Bro, they're literally getting out of the way and letting LeBron do his thing. Like, don't tell me these other great players on this team can't go out there and cook Dennis Schroeder, you know what I mean? Like
South Sudan. Well, they put him hell
get the crap, bro. You know what I mean? So, what are your thoughts on Team USA basketball? I'm excited about it because my thing is, LeBron deserves this. He deserves this to be part of his swan song. You know, he's about to wrap things up to add this to his legacy, to win an Olympic gold medal at 40, lead this team. I'm down for it, whatever. And walk out as the flag bearer. All those things are awesome.
Yeah.
But what are your overall thoughts just on just Team USA basketball in general? Just kind of because things just look so kind of ugly and political this summer because you got guys like John Morant for one, Jaylen Brown, and Kyrie Irving, who are three great American basketball players who never even sniffed this team, really, never got a serious look at this team. And we all know it's because of some type of political reason. You know what I mean? So with that being said, what do you think about the whole Conference? I mean, not Conference USA. That's another discussion. Team USA situation. You have no clue what Conference USA in regards to. You have nothing.
I'm aware of
it. After that, yeah. But what are your thoughts on Team USA? Just the whole thing, the roster build, the makeup, all those things.
Real quick on LeBron, and it's totally appropriate I say this for the Paris Olympics because, excuse my French, but I was thinking the other day, you know the tweet, I forgot who tweeted it. It was a long time ago. It was probably 10 years ago now, where it said, he turns 30 this year. This fuckery won't last much longer, thank God.
Yeah.
Dude, like, it's just like he's still taking over these games. Like, I kind of agree that there are probably other guys on the team that if you put them in that role, they probably could. Of course they
are. They're the best players in the world.
Right. But there's no doubt that like he has been through more of these moments and come through in more of these moments than anyone else on that team. I think it's so. I'll tease this too. I can say this now. The opening ceremonies are Friday, I believe. Keep your eye out. Friday or Saturday. Doc Holiday went out, had a one-on-one with Grant Hill in Las Vegas a couple weeks ago, where he asked about kind of the roster makeup and Ja and where he fit in on those discussions. So,
that's gonna be dope.
Keep your eyes peeled for that. I will say, I'll give a little peek. Ja was a combination of off-court stuff, and basically the gist of it that he played 9 games last year, so they didn't have enough of a look at him to really put him in that conversation with some of those other guys.
I gotta share my John conspiracy theory with you off air too, man. I said on the show before. It's too long of a conversation, but yeah, go ahead.
Okay, all right. Yeah. So the Derek White, Jaylen Brown thing was interesting to me. In a vacuum, I understand Derek White just because Derek White's kind of like the easy plug and play guy. Like he's not going to require a ton of shots. He'll make open threes. He's a good defender. I get all that, but where you lose me is saying we didn't need, a two-way wing that's going to need the volume and, is going to need the ball in his hands. I'm like,
why was Kawhi Leonard there?
Got Kawhi Leonard on his team. Like Jaylen Brown is probably the most seamless fit to replace Kawhi Leonard of all the players you could have brought in. Right. And like, to be honest, there have been times where Jaylen Brown has said some stuff that I don't agree with, but I can't blame him for feeling slighted. This dude just won Finals MVP on a team with
All NBA.
All NBA on a team, but Finals MVP and All NBA on a team with a guy in Jason Tatum that I think most people would call probably a top 6 to 8 player in the league. We're in some range of that. He was awesome throughout the playoffs. Like, shut up all the people that said he couldn't dribble with his left hand in the playoffs. Like, everything, man. He answered every call. He's young. He's a great two-way player. So, like, I don't blame him for being miffed on this at all, really. Beyond that, though, I mean, it's a damn good roster. I'm a little, the bias in me is a little bit miffed that they put Halliburton on the team or like Jalen Brunson, but I don't know. I think it's pretty close to the best collection of guys you could have gotten. Like I said, Brunson over Halliburton. I do get the idea of getting Halliburton in the door now if you wanted him to play a feature role in 28, but guess what? In 28, I think Ja will be there, assuming Assuming everything else is done and he's healthy, Ja's going to be the guy at point guard in 28, in my opinion. So, yeah, I mean, listen, like, you know, anything short of gold is a disappointment. And it's just weird too with like some of the swings of this team, because I don't really care that they went down the wire with Germany, because Germany's obviously a damn good team that won FIBA last year. South Sudan, credit to South Sudan, that was a little disconcerting. But the week before, they smacked Serbia by what, 25?
Yeah.
So they're just kind of all over the place. I hope that when the games start for real, it's just pedal to the metal and we don't have to worry about much.
Yeah. Because, that 2028 team might be crazy, because everybody's talking about that the rumor that LeBron, KD, and Steph reenacted the Magic Larry Bird in Michael Jordan pose, right?
Yep.
That pose next time is going to be Tatum, Ja, and Ant for the next joint.
Yeah.
That's gonna be the iconic. Yeah, that'll be the big three for the next Olympics for sure. But yeah, man, like I look forward to the interview you talked about for sure. And final question for you, Matt. This is my man Matt Infield, WMC TV Action News 5 anchor. Been doing this thing for the past 2.5, 3 years here in Memphis. You attended 9-on-1 Wrestling last weekend, a show that I am one of the commentators for. Myself and Kevin Cerrito, Tommy Jacks, owner and founder over there. We had our show, the Wild Card Rumble, a show that's in honor of Devin Wildcard Taylor, where we have our Battle Royal match for the winner. Kevin Bless now gets a shot at any title he wants. What are your thoughts? What's your quick review of the 9-on-1 Wrestling show that your first real experience, I'm assuming, with Memphis wrestling, something that you might not even understand how big and how deep those roots go here in the city of Memphis? Yeah,
so admittedly, like I'm not someone who grew up watching WWE or wrestling of any kind. Like,
you've never been to a bar and seen a wrestling show go down the same in the middle of
No, yeah, definitely not person. Like I had friends growing up like who watched WWE. Like I still have friends now who love WWE, but like I've never really gotten into it. So like I didn't really know what to expect. And like I looked up Black Lodge. I'd never been to Black Lodge before. I'm like, okay, it's a bar or whatever. Man, I walked in there and I was packed out. And like the showmanship of the wrestlers. Now I wasn't there. Unfortunately, I couldn't stay for the wild card. The Rumble's 13 guys, right?
Right.
That was probably pretty nuts. I couldn't stay for that because I had to anchor that night. But like the showmanship was really good. Like really, really good. I wasn't like not saying I was expecting it to be bad, but like it surpassed my expectations. And what was dude? He followed me on Instagram the other day. Bobby Ford, was that his name?
Bobby, our champion, Bobby Ford.
Bobby Ford. Yeah. Bobby is the heel, isn't he?
He needs an attitude adjustment. I'll say that he's not a crowd favorite at all.
But if he's the heel, he plays that role pretty well, in my opinion. But nah, man, it was cool. Like I said, I like the environment. I wasn't sure how many people it would be. I wasn't sure what the venue would look like.
Packed out. Yeah.
You said what?
It was packed out in that joint though.
Yeah, for sure. And you guys were super welcoming. Like everyone I talked to was really cool there. Obviously, it was for a good cause. And like Tommy talked about, like obviously, like it's like a tribute event, but like it's not like a somber tribute event.
No,
like it's
like pure celebration.
Right, celebration, and like everyone's having a good time. And I talked to Devin's mom. And she said, like, like I cry every time I come back, but like I love it at the same time because like this is what he loved to do, and like everyone's so great here. So it was cool, man. Like I said, like I did not walk into that thinking that I might actually want to come back as a fan, but like I actually think I might want to come back as a fan at some point because it was a cool vibe, and like there are dudes getting baby powder thrown at them, and like dudes actually getting thrown off the ropes and stuff. I was like, all right, I kind of get out with this.
Yeah, man. And I'm sure you know this, man. When you talk about Memphis wrestling, you go to work every day. It's hallowed ground when you go to work every day. The Channel 5 Saturday morning wrestling was live, which is so crazy when you go and sit back and think about it, man.
No.
Go ahead.
So I'll tell a really quick story on this. So we had it was a retirement party for Jarvis Greer and another one of our technical guys. This was December 22. It was like a combination, like a retirement party for them and like our Christmas party. And I spent not a good amount of time, but I talked for a little bit with Dave Brown, who was our chief meteorologist forever there. And Dave was the wrestling announcer there when like The Rock and all these guys came through. And he told me these stories about like how they literally just set up a ring in the middle of the studio on Saturday mornings of wrestling. It blew my mind the first time I heard
I want to say that where you guys' main studio is, that's where wrestling used to be.
Yeah, no, it's exactly where it is. 100%.
That's crazy, bro. That is so crazy. Well, yeah, welcome to Memphis, man. That's what we do. We're a wrestling city, bro.
Yeah, it was fun. I enjoyed it for sure.
For sure. This is my man, Matt Infield, man. Check him out on WMC TV Action News 5. Y'all know him. You love him. This is my guy. Matt, I appreciate you joining me today, bro.
Hey, always fun, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah. So we about to take a break. When we come back, it's going to be more of the Anthony Sain Show. We see you guys in a minute.
Metric standpoint, and I know people hate this, especially given the fact that it's July 22nd, but like Bartorvik in his preseason projections has this a fringe top 25 team. I don't see how that's, to me, that's not C area.
No, yeah. The wing position is probably where most people are kind of like, okay, what are you really going to rely on Colby Rogers? Because the whole time it seemed like they weren't, right?
It was that maybe month-long period where there were names that were being attached to the program that they lost out on. That feels like that kind of lessens.
It brings it down, right? Like
down,
you start,
right?
it feels
Like the bar was so
like
high.
Yeah, it kind of feels like the Kendrick Davis offseason, right? You immediately basically get Kendrick, who's like the best player in the portal, and then you started adding a bunch of dudes a lot of people hadn't heard about. Although these dudes that got added after PJ are better than those guys were.
Right.
Tune in to Tigers Untapped with TJ Willis and Trey Lasley every Wednesday at 3 p.m. on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
Scottie Pippen Jr., man, he has looked so good this summer and made a strong case for NBA minutes.
Yeah, he's been amazing. And I think the biggest revelation to me is how well he has been on the defensive end. A havoc defender. He's always getting his hands on balls. He's always in the way. He's very good at anticipating. How that translates to an NBA 82-game regular season and playoffs is different. Yes, I do agree that John Morant's your point guard. I want him playing 32 to 35 minutes a game. However, in the minutes that he's off the floor, say Dez is out there or Marcus is out there, I'd still rather have Scottie Pippen Jr. facilitating and kicking to them.
I'm in your camp here, but I think that Scottie has a real role on this team. What if Dez and Marcus don't have to run one, and you can have Scottie running the point, have Dez and Marcus out on the wing, and then you got Scottie driving where he can kick it out to Dez, or he can also shoot, can create space for our second lineup.
Tune in to the $2 Sports Show with Rusty Witten and Drew Gann every Friday at 3 p.m. only on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel. United Way of the Mid-South and 901 FC are teaming up to gather school supplies for students and teachers in Memphis Shelby County schools. We invite you to join us in our Stuff the Bus initiative. Bring new school supplies to the 901 FC versus San Antonio FC game on Saturday, July 27th at 7:30 p.m. Donate notebooks, pens, pencils, crayons, and much more. Or you can contribute by texting UW Schools to 41444 to make a monetary donation.
All right, y'all. Welcome back to the Anthony Sain Show. Time for the three-pointer, man, where we talk about three things going on in the world of sports. Kenny, last time we talked about the whole Amazon TNT thing. TNT trying to slide back in on some not so fast type stuff. Jeff Bezos, my guy, came in and said, man, get that ass up out of here, man. You're broke. Yeah. No, NBA decided, hey, we're going to ride with this deal with Amazon, man.
Well, it's going to I think it's about to get messy, bro, because TNT has now come out and said, because they had a matching rights contract with the NBA, so they could match the deal, and it went to them. And NBA saying they didn't match it, and TNT saying, yeah, we did. So like, I'm wondering.
Probably had it. I ain't gonna lie, bro. Amazon shit be working. You know what I mean? It's one thing I can say. Amazon be working, bro. Amazon Prime works on my TV. Amazon 100%. App works on my TV, and I think the presentations of their game is gonna be dope. And anything you're missing from TNT, including inside the NBA,
will probably be over there.
Will probably port over to Amazon at one time. I know you talked about the Charles Barkley stuff, but hey, money talks, bullshit walks, man. So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, because Charles came out and announced that he was retiring, right? Like after this next season. Because
you probably gonna lose him anyway. It probably had nothing to do with TNT. I'm sure. Why would he have a problem working for Amazon? He don't like Jeff Bezos or something. So
yeah, man. No, he just said he said he wants to retire. He wants to play.
That's
ball.
what I'm saying. So you're gonna lose him anyway. So
Right.
I think it's gonna be pretty dope. Also, NBA on NBC coming back.
I love it.
You seen the live version? You saw the live version?
Yeah, dude.
That shit hard, bro. Yeah,
John
one of the
Test,
hardest
bro.
songs ever. I remember they had an NBA Jam. They had NBC branding on it.
Yeah.
And they had that music on there. But yeah, man. Classic NBA on NBC. I just remember the intros to the games. All that stuff was dope. Glad that's coming back. What else are they saying? ESPN is talking about doing a having an NFL red zone type station, but it's like works like NFL red zone works, but it'd be for the NBA. I'm down for it. I'm down for the innovation. My boy Mike Tirico is supposed to be doing the games, the NBC games.
What are your thoughts on that? You like Mike Tirico?
Yeah, I like Tirico. I got a brother that look just like Mike Tirico has. Too, I see you a picture of my brother. You be like, damn.
Yeah.
But no, man.
I think it's dope. Like I obviously, and then I think in the deal, Amazon is announcing they're going to have the NBA Cup, which is the in-season tournament, which is dope. Like I'm telling you, man, if you are, I cannot wait to see the presentation. Like it just is such a nice, like the presentation of it is so much better. So,
and bro, and here's another thing too. I told y'all last year, I'm not this get off my lawn. What is this NBA in-season tournament? I like the NBA in-season.
Yes.
I just think it's a cool little kickoff to the year, like celebrating guys having like that tournament, like kind of put Tyrese Halliburton into a whole nother stratosphere, like as far as how people viewed him. And I think it's cool. It's cool, man.
And it produced one of the greatest segments in the history of the Anthony Sain show, the media plant segments.
Oh yeah, the media plant ass Halliburton, bro. They put this doing the Olympic team and everything. Man, doing nothing over there. Man, I'm telling you, bro, that stuff is so rigged. Grant Hill, shame on you.
Shame on you.
Shame on you, Grant Hill, for sure.
You got Kyrie sitting there. You got Ja. Anyway,
you heard what Matt said, man, about the Grant Hill interview. They said in that Grant Hill interview, Grant Hill is going to address the whole Ja Morant situation. The one that Doc Holliday did, he said that he's going to address that whole situation. So yeah, hey, Matt said it, so y'all heard it. So yeah.
Ooh, I cannot wait.
But yeah, it's going down. But
I hope it goes well for Grant, because if it doesn't go, if he says the wrong thing, Memphis is gonna get on his ass, bro.
They said he was like, maturity, off the court, getting this up, letting them get this up together. Hey, I hear you, but I'll tell you another thing I told Matt too, on that whole thing. Like the original Dream Team, it was Bird, Magic, and Jordan, right? Had the iconic picture, and then LeBron, Steph, and KD redid it. Now next year the big three is gonna be. The whole theme of next year is going to be the next wave, right? The new generation of USA basketball. It'll be Tatum, Ja, and Anthony Edwards. It'll be those three.
Yep.
That'll be your backcourt too. Your 1, your 2, and your 3.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, it's going down, bro. I'm gonna be back with them that year. It might be the revenge of Jaylen Brown too, man.
I'm excited.
I was Jaylen Brown. I protest the shit out there, Jaylen, in the middle of the game. Had me a whole protest in this. Fight the power, Jaylen Brown. That's what I'm talking about, man. Fuck him. That's what I'm talking about, Jaylen Brown, for sure. But Kenny, speaking of stuff going down, man.
Oh, real quick though, before you go there, let's not get off this. The WNBA has also signed an 11-year deal.
Yeah, Light is getting that money, man.
With Disney,
okay out here.
With the same people, with Amazon, ESPN, Disney, all that kind of stuff. 11 years, man.
Them girls, them ladies about to start getting paid in a minute, man.
Bro, you know how much this deal is worth? I can't even tell you. I can't even do the math. It's $200 million a year for 11 years. That's
what I'm talking about. 6 figures for my girls is coming, man.
It's almost man.
It's almost it, man. They about to break it to the 6. Throw another zero on them right quick, like
throw some zeros on them bank accounts.
Throw some zeros on them. Yeah, man. Shout out to the ladies at WNBA about to get that money, man. It's got to be coming soon. Got to be coming soon. Hey, wait till they make $1.50 out here, man. Trying to tell you.
Wait till they start doing the tax aprons and the hard caps for the WNBA team.
Salary cap of $1 million.
$1 million.
I come to announce the salary cap for the WNBA of $1 million.
Dun, dun, dun.
Hey, little girl. Hey, who do you think will be, by the time Juju comes out, will she be the first $1 million athlete?
No, that'd be Caitlin.
I mean, like coming in as a rookie, though. Like
as a rookie,
scale.
Juju. As a rookie,
just so far from $1 million right now today, though, bro.
Yeah,
but that don't mean nothing though, because that junk can jump big time.
Oh, it can jump quick. It could jump in an off season. Yeah, it'd be fine.
So Kalen will be the first.
Yeah,
probably be the first.
Yeah, I don't know though. Asia might be the first, bro.
When is she a free agent again? I don't know, bro.
Let me see. I don't even know her contract. I don't know enough about the
NBA.
NBA.
$1 million salary cap for a team is crazy, bro. Hey, bro.
So Asia signed a 2-year, $400,000 contract, including $400,000 guaranteed in 2024. So she is.
Oh, we ain't far from $1 million deal then.
Next year, in 2 years,
Well,
it'll be $1 million.
Why people be talking like these ladies really ain't making nothing though? Like, I thought the rookie scale money is more than what the current players are
because
making.
do you know what the lowest contract in the NBA WNBA
I get
is?
that part, but I get that whole conversation. I thought nobody was even making six figures in the WNBA. Asia Wilson's making $200,000 a year.
Yeah, she's making $200,000. How many six-figure contracts?
It ain't many. If your MVP's making $200,000, I doubt many other people.
If your best player in the world is making $200,000 a year,
hey, don't just hold tight, ladies. Better days are coming. Better days ahead for sure.
Yep.
But yeah, man, better days. Speaking of better days, Kenny Stubblefield, Liberty Bowl is going down, man.
I gotta be strategic and political. It's the Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium.
The SBLS. Is going down. Demolition is started. I got emotional, Kenny, when I saw where the old Pronto pump stand.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I started getting to my feelings, bro. And I can smell the corn dogs, bro. I can smell the mustard, man. I can smell the beer as I saw those pillars being broken down. Kenny Stubblefield.
It's a big moment.
Just go and knock down the Coliseum. I heard Gabe and Christian talking about. Bro, why is the Coliseum still there, man? And I would say this, man. I got a friend. I can't think of the guy's name right now. So I guess we ain't really friends. I just my guy, though.
So he's a real good friend.
Yeah, I got a guy, man. He's part of that Coliseum Restoration Coalition thing. And he let me in the Coliseum, right? And for nostalgia's sake, it was really dope being inside that building.
100%.
Even though I probably got lung cancer right now. But walking around inside that joint.
You got asbestos poisoning, bro.
Yeah, exactly, right? So it was really dope being inside the building. It smells absolutely horrible. That building looks terrible. It probably would cost a shitload to the money you would spend renovating that building. You might as well just knock it down.
It's been condemned. It's been condemned. You can't restore it.
Yeah, it's terrible. It looks terrible in there.
Yeah,
and they told people they could walk across the catwalk at the very top.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, nobody black signed up for that, so I declined as well. But it's time to knock that joint down, man. It's time to knock it down.
I mean, listen, man. There's
a super dope ass building over there that makes anything the Liberty Bowl look like shit anyway. So
the MSEC, Mid-South Entertainment, or what? No, not the MSEC. What's it called?
The whatever youth center building
in Mid-South Entertainment. Anyway,
I don't know. It's
crazy.
That's all I know. Yeah, that's all I know. That joint is fat. Why is there not more hype about that building?
I got my theories, but I'm not gonna say them on air.
I got mine too.
because of the demographics of the people that are attracted there.
I think I'm the same. Let's keep it quiet, and maybe they won't find out about it. Because I mean, they were talking about building like a bowling alley and restaurant.
Now, if it was a baseball field,
right?
We'd be if it was one. You know what I'm saying? Like if it was a.
But they were talking about building like entertainment stuff, like making a one-stop shop. Like if a family comes in from out of town, hotels and all that. Like, is that not happening now, or is it?
No, it's called Liberty Park. It's going to be incredible. Like it's going to be incredible.
So the first phase is on the done.
The first phase, they're building hotels. They're building parking garages. They're building. I mean, they're building out. They're building like you can see where they're putting in like. Shopping centers and things like that. It's going to.
I ain't been out there in forever. That's gonna be dope when they get this shit,
dude.
Okay,
Liberty Park is gonna be crazy. It's gonna be crazy, but yes, the MSEC is going to be, or whatever it's called. I can't remember what it's called, but it is an incredible place. And the Coliseum, like Gabe said, it's begging to be torn down. Please do away with me. right? Like
I heard y'all talk about this issue. I thought about you ever seen one of my favorite movies of all time, bro? I can't think of the name of the movie now. Best of the Best. You ever seen it?
Nuh-uh.
Bro, come on, bro. You never seen Best of the Best for real?
Nope.
The movie about it's about, I don't even know if this is even a real thing. It was like the United States Taekwondo team or martial arts team or something. And it had like this mixed bag of diversity that was like the team, right? It was like a white cowboy that fights with a cowboy hat on, an Asian dude, a nerd white guy, and I think it was a black dude, but I don't know. But it was just like this super diverse team. And like, anyway, the Asian dude, his brother got killed by somebody that was on this Asian team. I can't remember what the Asian country was. And, he ended up fighting that dude at the end. He beats him at the end, and he's got the option to either kill the dude or just win gracefully. And the guy is telling him, the guy who killed his brother is like, kill me or whatever. And I want to say like he spared his life, and I could have just did the Karate Kid because it does the same trope there too. When Mr. Miyagi could have killed that guy and he pinches him on the nose. But, yeah. Anyway, that's the Mid-South Coliseum, goddamn. Put that motherfucker out of his business.
Yeah, let's stop being so nice about that place, man. Like,
I'm being a gentleman and knock that shit down. Mid-South Coliseum is done.
I'm looking at Best of the Best. They got 4 of them bitches, bro.
Bro, go watch the first one with your son, bro. With both of your kids, bro.
1989.
Bro,
that's when
it's one of the best movies, fam. Like,
okay, I'll go watch it. I'll watch it.
Gabe was struggling with martial arts last year and just couldn't. It was a board he just could not break right. And I talked to his master about it. I said, Master McGee, Gabe is struggling. Like I can't get him to mentally break through. He said, man, you got to get him. You got to go old school, man. Just let him watch Best of the Best. I was like, what? And by damn it, we watched that movie. Gabe broke the shit out of the board. This because the dude in the movie, bro, this is the wild shit our show goes on. The dude in the movie, like, he had a mental block because he watched his brother get killed by this guy that was the leader of this Asian nation's team, right? His brother was killed by him, but he was American. His brother was killed by this guy in one of these competitions, like I guess 8 years ago or something like that. When he was a little boy, 12 years ago, he was a little boy or whatever, right? So he had a mental block where he just couldn't focus. But he was like one of the best martial artists in the world. But he knew he was gonna have to fight that guy from this other country in this challenge. He just couldn't break through. And he eventually broke through, of course, and beat the dude's ass and could have killed him. Should have killed him, but he didn't. But Best of the Best, man. Go check it out.
I'll go check it out. And of
course, like all those movies that came out in the 80s, the first one started off as martial arts. The second one was martial arts, and the third one was like Rambo. Like, you know, it was like machine guns and like somebody got kidnapped. And it's like it turns to a whole other movie around the third one, right? Kind of like Kickboxer, right? We stopped being about kickboxing altogether and turned into Rambo. So, but you see Kickboxer, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay, cool.
Any of them Jean-Claude Van Damme, like
all
blood sport,
all that. Yeah,
I love blood.
The first ones are about what they're about. Then they turn into the Iran Contra affair. Turns into Contra, Super Contra, whatever. Crazy, but number 3 though, Kenny Stubblefield. I have purchased NCAA College Football 25. I own it. I've been playing that joint.
How bad is Gabe beating that ass?
Man, here's the thing. You know, I co-parent, right? Gabe does not live with me.
Right.
I gotta get Gabe every weekend. Which I thought was a trumped up deal. I was kind of winning that deal. I thought that I was losing that deal. Like, man, every weekend, my ex-wife has got every weekend free. And she told me, she said, I know you think that you're really doing something by having Gabe every weekend. She said, I would gladly trade with you just to let you know, because you don't do no homework. You don't have to deal with nothing. She's like, you ain't got to deal with nothing. You just get a kid and you have fun every weekend. Y'all hang out and eat wings and pizza and drink sodas and eat candy and ice cream and get into bed. Like, I would trade with you at any time. She was like, please don't get it twisted like you dying on a sword for me, right?
like you doing something right now.
Right. But I keep Gabe every weekend, right? So I bought the game and he came over last weekend. It came out like last Tuesday or Wednesday or something, but I got the broke dude version
on Friday.
Like he ain't gonna be here till Friday no way. So I tried to get a leg up on it. I played it a couple times the night before it came out. I tried to get a feel for it because Gabe will sit there and will not stop playing the game till he can beat you, bro.
Yeah.
He'll say, let me play by myself. Let me play by myself. Like, he'll be in practice mode, running plays. He's ready to beat your ass when he comes back, right? Because you're not going to beat Gabe more than once. Like, if you beat him once, he going to come back and beat your ass. So the first game we played, he had Colorado. I hadn't really played with Memphis. When I did play with Memphis, like, I don't really think they're that good. So I'm going to get Florida State. So I had Florida State and Gabe had Colorado.
Right.
And Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders are cold as shit on that game too, bro. Let me just say that because Travis Hunter is like Deion Sanders on one side and Jerry Rice and Randy Moss on the other side, bro. So they got that bad cold as shit on the game, right? So I beat Gabe at Florida State. And then Kenny Stubblefield, the internet's frozen as well. I don't know how we're gonna get out of this segment. But anyway, so I beat Gabe with Florida State. And he comes back the next game. And I want to say he had somebody good, and I had somebody good too. And he beat my ass. Like, I can't remember who he beat my ass with. He beat my ass on the game for sure. But I like the game. It's a little arcadey. It's a little I think my guy John Martin said it's kind of it plays like a superhero movie. Like, it definitely does for sure. It's a little bit too loose. I'm the type of dude, I will go in and customize the game to the way I like to play, the way I like the defense to respond, etc. So I will. It set sliders on y'all ass. I don't care. I don't play online at all. I play CPU only. So I customize the game for the experience I like, but I like it. But since Gabe has gone home, he has purchased his own version of it, probably with his own money. Kenny Stubblefield, who I think is trying to come back on. I don't know. But yeah, Gabe has purchased the game with his own money. He sent me a picture, mean mugging me, showing me that he's purchased the game as well, and he's going to be back on my ass. And I pick up Gabe today. As you guys are watching the show, I'm preparing myself to lose to a 10-year-old on NCAA College Football 25. But I've been practicing too. I've been working on my plays. I'm going to bust his ass for sure. It's the things you got to do when you have a son that's a 10-year-old. But we're about to take a break. When we come back, it's going to be more than Anthony Sain show. We'll see you guys in a minute.
Every American Olympic athlete in their welcome gift bag is getting a Penny Hardaway 1-cent candle. Have you guys seen this?
No,
that's amazing. I think that's awesome.
I mean, the marketing
How bad
of
is that?
is incredible.
I mean, I'm about to buy a 1-cent candle right now.
We've grown up watching and paying attention to Penny Hardaway. He's been the coach of the University of Memphis for 6-7 years, and so you kind of get used to having him around, to kind of get used to him being the face of the college. And then you read things like this and you're like, what the hell, dude? Like, this dude is like a monster you know what I'm saying? In the sports world, Penny Hardaway is that guy. Like, it's just, he's got a daggum candle in the welcome package in the Paris Olympics.
That is wild.
Crazy.
Tune in to Tigers Untapped with TJ Willis and Trey Lasley every Wednesday at 3 p.m. on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
I would imagine everybody would be very happy about this, but there have been some people that can't let go of the old and welcome in the new, which is strange, but I guess we shouldn't be as surprised as all three of us are. I mean, there's a very large building right next to Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium that has sat pretty untouched for quite a while because of the same thing. So
just because you knock something down does not mean you lose the memories you had. It is sort of the similar thought process behind not getting rid of the Mid-South Coliseum. Like, every time I see it, it feels like the building is begging to be knocked down.
Please put me out of my misery.
Yes.
Every time
Mid-South Coliseum is screaming for help, and no one wants to help it.
It's where they filmed The Walking Dead. Like, it's like that's it.
And your memories, guess what? We can put up a plaque. We can write books about it. It's gonna be okay.
Tune in to On the Bluff with Christian Fowler and Gabe Kuhn every Tuesday at 12 p.m. on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel. United Way of the Mid-South and 901 FC are teaming up to gather school supplies for students and teachers in Memphis Shelby County schools. We invite you to join us in our Stuff the Bus initiative. Bring new school supplies to the 901 FC versus San Antonio FC game on Saturday, July 27th at 7:30 p.m. Donate notebooks, pens, pencils, crayons, and much more. Or you can contribute by texting UW Schools to 41444 to make a monetary donation.
All right, y'all. Welcome back to the Sain Show. Got my boy Kenny Stubblefield back, man.
I'm back, man.
From the abyss, man. Kenny Stubblefield is back, man. Everybody in there tripping, tripping. We gonna get
I was in the sunken place, bro.
Yeah, for real, man. Man, looking crazy. Froze up on the screen. You might have throw a ad or something up there. Hey,
Was I like
open mouth? Yeah, something like that. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, man. Inside the Sain brand, where we talk about something that's been on a brother's mind, man. And my boy Tyler Perry, man, clap back on y'all ass, man. Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry. Here's the thing, and I'm gonna make this real fast. We gonna wrap the show up. It's gonna be a real fast Inside the Sain brand. Kenny Stubblefield, first of all, are you a fan of Tyler Perry's movies? Do you watch them? Probably not.
No.
You probably seen the movie and didn't even know it was one of his.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's exactly exactly what I was gonna say. Is I've probably seen a bunch of his stuff, but I don't know it is his stuff.
Right. One movie that's his. A lot of people did not know it's his. Why Did I Get Married? Is a Tyler Perry movie. A lot of people didn't know that. That's one that's kind of commercially known. A lot of people didn't know.
Got you. Okay.
Tyler Perry movie, but basically Tyler Perry works by a formula. He makes movies. He makes movies for black women. I'm just gonna be honest with you. And his movies all pretty much either expose or profit off of black trauma. And it's typically black women trauma, right? And I watch his movies. I used to didn't like none of his stuff at all. I'm still not a fan of the Medea stuff. Do not like that at all.
No.
But his movies are cool to me. They've grown on me for sure. And I think it's kind of crazy because when I see black people criticizing this stuff, I'm like, bro, y'all don't do this for nothing else, man. Like,
right.
Y'all don't criticize. Y'all sit here and watch all them 50 Shades of Grey movies. And it wasn't nothing but, a rich white man fucking a white woman. That was all that. It's all it was. And we watch all these other type of movies that are literally the same thing over and over again. Scream or what's these other horror movies? It's all the same thing. Like, and nobody's really batting an eye about it. But this brother has clearly found a way to make profitable movies in an era where it's not really easy to make profitable movies, man. Because in the movie market, the movie theater thing is almost over with.
Yes.
And then people are bootleg streaming so much, it's hard to make the kind of money people make. And then he pays his actors and actresses, man. He pays people. He's gave people who hadn't done stuff in a while. He's given them opportunities. Yeah. He's helped out people that have been like strung out and life fell off and gave them parts and got them back in the business. I salute Tyler Perry, man, for sure.
I got a better example. If you're trying to talk about like the hatred that he gets but
you do see the hatred though, right?
Oh yeah. The hatred that he gets, miss me if you watch Hallmark Channel movies.
Because literally the same shit over.
It's literally the same movie every single time.
That's what I'm saying. People are sitting and watch that, Lifetime movies, all that type of shit. It's the same
it's
crap.
The same thing. They have a formula that makes them a shit ton of money.
Yeah.
And
I ain't mad at it.
And we don't get mad at it.
Watching mindless TV or mindless movies. Everything doesn't have to, give a lesson or just be some great Oscar-nominated film.
What did you
watch? Something that's just some goofy shit.
What do you talk about? You had a phrase that you called it a long time ago. Is it folks profiting off the
failures of
failure?
I was talking about people,
the slave,
black trauma,
black trauma, like the history of the black trauma, and it's like that's kind of what he doesn't do in that situation. Like he talks a lot about black trauma and stuff like that, but it's mainly
he's profiting off of black trauma. He's profiting off of black trauma for sure. Like
it's a different style though. It's like a different type of thing though for me. I don't know.
And I think it's only because it's a black man doing it. If it was somebody white making these movies, I would be outraged. I'll say that. But like I said, he's found his niche, man. Like I get why people get upset about the stuff he does, but it's like ain't no different what nobody else doing, bro. And like I said, his movies are always seems like it's an extra scene that didn't need to be there, right? It's like, okay, that was a little bit too much. Or you could have totally taken that whole character out of the movie. The movie still would have been the same thing. Like, and in this last movie he made, it definitely was a couple scenes like that. One of the most classic movies that he did, where I was like, bro, there was so much in this movie you could have taken out, was The Diary of a
Mad Black Woman.
No, that it was.
Is that not him? I don't know.
Yeah, that was him too. But he did one that was called Temptation or something like that, right? Temptation, Tales of a Marriage Counselor or something like that. But it was basically about a lady that was married to a Christian lady that's married to a Christian man, and this guy came in and she worked for some PR firm or something like that. And this man came in that was a rich client of hers. And he like took her from her husband and got her strung out on drugs and gave her AIDS and all that type of stuff. And it's like Tyler Perry's always got some extra stuff, bro. They're like, okay, bro, you could have took that whole part out. But basically what happened was her husband was a pharmacist. And Brandy, the singer, was one of his employees.
Oh, wow.
And she just so happened to be the ex of the guy that his wife was messing with, who was also running from this guy because he was crazy. And I'm like, bro, it's so like that. You could have took that whole character. That's too much coincidence, bro. You could have told this story without making it that much coincidence. You know what I mean? But
yeah,
I watch this shit, bro. Every time he drop a new movie, I'm gonna watch that bitch. Like this, this happening, bro. So shout out to Tyler Perry. Talk your shit, man. I ain't mad at you, bro. Everything ain't got to be some Academy acclaimed movie. Some stuff I just watch, you know.
I like Fast and the Furious. The 15 of the Fast and the Furious.
I'm not gonna watch none of them joints, but it's an audience for it. You know what I'm saying? So 100%. Yeah, exactly, bro. They keep making the same Fast and Furious over. Ain't nobody like.
Oh no, they went to space, bro. They went to space and flew cars in space, bro.
Like, no, I'm straight. But yeah, man. For Kenny Stubblefield, it's Anthony Sain. Shout out to my boy Matt Infield. Great interview with him. Go check that out. If you came in late in the show, go back and watch that joint. But yeah, man, it's we're entering the dog days of summer, Kenny Stubblefield. The summer league is over. The summer league is over.
It's about to get super ratchet on this show, bro.
It's gonna be real ignorant. Plus, I'm gonna have some different type of guests, man. There's something I want to do with this show. Bring in different people who are doing some amazing things in the city. You've seen those type of people in the past. We had this guy that was a candidate for mayor. Hey, he ended up winning the thing.
Hey.
Yeah, I think that guy ended up winning the mayor, becoming the mayor.
Wouldn't mind having him back on, Mr. Paul, Mayor Paul Young.
What happened to that young man? I hope he won.
I think he became a mayor.
He became a mayor. We had people like Paul Young and people like Tammy Sawyer. I know she'll come on. Trying to get my girl Ina Esco from V101.
Let's go.
Yeah, man. Trying to do some different stuff this summer. My boy Kevin Cerrito, one of my dogs, man. One of the guys who's probably the reason why I'm standing in front of y'all right now. I tell this story all the time. I'm gonna let him tell the story pretty soon. So yeah, like I said, we'll have sports stuff. We'll have more sports media guys come on as things happen. Of course, we'll talk about sports the whole time, but I will have some different type of guests in. Man, I'm gonna tell you something super dope as we get off, man. You know, Gabe's mom works for the Special Olympics, right?
Yeah.
901 FC is doing an event with Special Olympics and coming out and practicing with the Olympians.
Love it.
So Gabe is going to meet the 901 FC players.
They do incredible stuff.
Gabe's a volunteer with Special Olympics. So
love it.
Yeah, it's going down, man. A lot of stuff going down this summer. The dog days of summer are here. The summer league is over. It's gonna be a tough stretch, man.
We'll talk men's national team. We'll talk women's national team.
Yeah, WNBA still going on. Yeah,
I'm gonna talk volleyball stuff because I love volleyball.
Yeah, for sure. Me too. Oh, I'm gonna tell you a story I meant to talk about for the 3-point. I'm gonna say that jump for Tuesday.
Let's save it.
You save it for Tuesday. Your boy that what's his name? That Chandler Parsons, the white boy from Arizona. He's doing volleyball. Chase Budinger.
Beach volleyball.
We're gonna talk about that shit next week, man. We're gonna talk about all that next week. Well, yeah, man. And then the Olympic stars win tonight, right? The kickoff.
It started 2 days ago.
What's today? Friday?
Yeah.
The Olympics ain't started.
It played on Wednesday. They had games on Wednesday. They had soccer games. USA already got beat.
Man, get your sorry ass out of there. All right, man. For Kenny Stubblefield, Anthony Sain, we'll see y'all next time, man. We out.
Thank you for listening to the Anthony Sain Show. If you enjoyed this episode, leave a rating and a review wherever you download your podcasts. Also, like and subscribe to Bluff City Media's YouTube page. For comprehensive coverage of Memphis sports, head over to www.bluffcitymedia.co and find out how you can become an insider. We will see you back here next week.